Hi guys, thanks so much for watching the Socialife, the place to be for entrepreneurs with a purpose. Today I want to talk to you about how to keep your donors involved. And I just have a few tips on things that you can do to make sure your donors feel part of what you're doing and that they want to, donate again and they want to be repeat contributors to your organization. Some of the things that I found just over time is truly that your mission has to resonate. Your organization is really a lot bigger than who you are. And I think that part of your branding really does go along with who you are. So being part of that, if you choose to, is a great option. Just like a business, the person that's running the business is the face of the business if you choose to be that. I think it's a much better way to connect with your donors if they can see you, they know who you are, they see your passion, they see your interest in your organization and what you're trying to do with your mission and vision. So I think those things are all parts of, things that you just should take into consideration before I give you these tips. So my first tip is to say thank you. I don't care how you say it, but say thank you. And make sure that they know that it's an individual thank you, not just a blanket thank you to everyone. So find a special way to say thank you to your donors, however that may be. I've done videos before. We do thank you notes. Sometimes we send out the thank you notes from the kids. Sometimes I see people on an individual level and I say thank you to them for donating. So really just make it a priority to say thank you. And that's like my number one tip, which I know things can get busy and I know that things can sometimes get lost in the, just the busyness of running a nonprofit. And I completely understand that. But sometimes it's good to pause on other things so that you can make sure that you say thank you to the people who are actually opening their wallets and giving to you. So if you have to let other things go, like your newsletter, or you gotta let other things go, like, I don't know what it might have to be, but anything in your organization, that should be number one. Number two is to share info about how you're spending those funds and what you're doing and how far you've come with the organization or what it is that's happening with those funds. Even if it's not directly to that person, whether you have an annual report or a newsletter that you share things on about what you're doing, or you have a social media page that you're using, or you occasionally put up pictures of, the people in your program doing things. Let people just know kind of what you're doing and where those funds are going. Communication's huge on this front, and people just want to know that their funds are being used towards your mission and that your vision, your mission and vision are being fulfilled by these funds that people are giving you. Number three is to provide opportunities for them to get involved. So you want to make it so that people can, if they choose to, they can become involved with your organization. And that could be something as simple as, asking people to help you set up your fundraiser, or asking people to share a post that you wrote on Facebook or wherever. The most important thing is that you have opportunities for them to get involved. And I have to say that when I first started, I did not have those opportunities. I didn't know where I needed people to help me. And then when I needed the help, it was so late. So one thing I would say is, while you are working on your organization and while you're building it and you see areas where you need help, instead of getting to the point that I was, where I was like so stressed out and I just needed someone, I called and I was like, I need you to come today to help me with X, Y, and Z because I'm going to lose it. Instead of getting to that point, I would just write down the areas where you either know, like, I'm not good at this and this is a very difficult, long task for me, but it could be a very short, easy task for someone else. Write those things down and then ask your board members to help you find people who can fill these spots that would be happy to volunteer to do those types of tasks. The worst thing, and what I've learned most over the last couple of years, is that the worst thing that you can do to yourself is try to do everything alone and be frustrated and burned out, and you're still trying to accomplish your mission, but now it has become so much harder that you don't even want to. You don't ever want to get to that point. And I try to focus, talking about mindset and burnout and things like that on this channel, because I know how serious that can be, and I know how fatigued you can get when you're trying to do it all by yourself. So don't try to do it by yourself. Write down a list of things that you know that you're not necessarily the best at. Like, I know I'm not the best at numbers, so I have someone on my board that's great with numbers, and now I have someone who does our books. That was one of the first things that we needed to get covered when we started. So really find areas that if someone came up to you and said, hey, I'd love to help you out, where could you direct them? Like, where is it that you would love to give up? And if someone was trained on how to do it, you'd be so happy that they took it over. Or even just simple tasks like, if I could have someone file these papers on, every other Tuesday or something. Just write out that wish list. It will save you every single time. So do that. Have opportunities for people to come on board and help you. And the fourth thing is recognition. Recognition. It is the most important piece of, to me, running a nonprofit. Now, when you are not able to recognize your sponsors, recognize your donors, or you get to a point where you can no longer spend time recognizing people, it's time to get more help. And I honestly had to learn that the hard way. And now that I do have more help, I can focus on recognizing my donors, my sponsors, my program recipients, all of those things. But I had to lay off of my social media for a while on my nonprofit page because I really needed to get the organization back in order. We had to buckle down, and I had to get help, and move some of the tasks that I'm trying to do along with the other bigger vision focused tasks. I had to get someone there to help me. And so it's been a godsend, and now I can get back to what I used to do, which is recognition. And I do believe that recognition is the most important piece of your program. That is how you create social media posts. That's how you share your organization. That's how you share the people who have a huge impact on your organization, who donate to you. That's how it just means so much. And so when you're not able to do that, or you're just not doing it, it's very detrimental to your organization. That would be my biggest piece, recognition. I don't care if you do it in your annual report, your website, I don't care what you do it in, but do it in something so that people feel recognized, they feel appreciated. So just to recap on those 4 things: say thank you any way you can, share info about the funds and where they're going and what you're doing with them periodically through your year, provide opportunities for people to get involved. If they've donated to you, likely they might want to get involved. And if they don't, that's okay too, but you want to have those opportunities there for people who do. And lastly, recognition. So you really want to be able to take the time to recognize. You can never really over-recognize anyone. People love to be recognized, they love to be acknowledged, and unless they tell you otherwise, you should be trying to recognize all of these people. So I hope you'll get out there and start saying thank you to your donors. Start drafting up ways to add that into your strategic plan and your marketing and branding and all of that, so that really is your focus, the thank you, because it's huge. And it really does have a huge impact on your organization when you do start to do that more consistently throughout the year for your organization. People appreciate it. So thank you all so much for taking the time to watch today. I do truly hope that helps you, and I hope it helps you get out there and unleash your something amazing. I will see you on the next one. Bye, guys.